I want to tell you the story of the most unimaginable thing to have ever happened to me. Mold in my last apartment has been making my girlfriend so sick to the point where she's been literally bedridden. We had to escape that, throw away a lot of our belongings, and at this point, we're just trying to figure out how to get our life back. And I think the best way to begin is for me to introduce you to my girlfriend, Christy Lee.
My name is Christy Lee. And no, there is not a space between the Christy and the Lee. It is all one word.
Christy Lee is a professional dancer with a Broadway level of talent. She won America's Dancer of the Year in 2016 and was quite honestly a star. She had her passion, the thing that she trained her entire life for, taken away from her at the age of 22. It was taken away because of chronic health issues, things with long acronyms, things that make doctors scratch their heads when you mention it to them. Within that first year, she got a lot better. She wasn't good enough to dance, but she got better to the point where she was able to teach and built up a name for herself as a respected choreographer just outside of New York City. When she finally moved into my apartment, she started rapidly getting worse. And for over a year, her health declined, and we had no idea what the heck was happening. Her body would take longer to recover from physical exertion. She would have trouble digesting almost every food, and she would get so fatigued that sometimes taking a walk from the bedroom to the kitchen was an insurmountable task. Earlier just this year, we finally found a physician who suspected to test her for mold toxicity. He ran blood tests on her, and the results came back so concerning to him that he said, "I don't know where you're living, but you have to leave, and you have to leave now." The level of mold antibodies in her system was orders of magnitude greater than he has ever seen in his decorated career. So today is a really exciting day. Because of Christy Lee's health issues, there's been a variety of foods that she hasn't eaten in 4 years. And eggs is one of those foods, something that she grew up eating every single day and hasn't had an egg in 4 years. And today, I'm gonna go get her an egg. If this goes well, it's a sign of progress. One of the issues that we had with this mold is that we had a hunch it was there, the blood test showed us something, but we needed something more tangible. The first thing that we did after getting the blood test was get a home mold test kit. And Immunolytics sends us these petri dishes. We expose them to open air for an hour. There's some sort of solution. We close them, we ship it to their lab where they incubate it and see what grows on it. And these are the pictures that they sent us back. So what you could see here on screen is the results of that. What I need you to pay attention to is these markers. It indicates a very high, unsafe level of this type of mold strain. There was a few different types of mold strains it picked up, like this one is more prone to be found in plants and soil, while this one is known to be the scary black mold that people talk about. We weren't really happy with the results because they told us that the mold test wouldn't be effective because it could only capture mold in the room and not mold inside the walls or below the floor, which is where we suspected the mold to be. They're useless unless you could see mold, but if you could see mold, you don't need to test for it. Another makeshift test that we did was get a humidity reader. You put these readers up against the wall and they read the moisture, and we got some pretty high levels. They say that 17% is really bad. You wanna be around 4 or 5%, and after we got our test results, we knew we had to move, but we couldn't just pick up our life and move right away. The first thing that we did was get rid of all the allergens. I had to get rid of all of the plants that I loved so much. The next thing that we did was get rid of an old carpet. When we made the bedroom carpet free, there was less dust, and mold attaches itself to dust, so it was easier to sweep and clean. The next thing we did was invest pretty heavy into air purifiers. It's the thing you get if you need to filter out mold spores. So we got 2 of them, one for the bedroom and one for the main area. Then the last order of measure that we did was get a dehumidifier. Mold grows at humidity, and if we could just make make it less humid, mold will grow less quickly. We had it running 24/7 because of how humid our house was. Our humidity level was somewhere in the high 70s, and this thing was able to get it down to 40% humidity. So these are the precautions we took in the months that we stayed in the apartment after we had this information. We had a main goal of moving closer to family and into a new construction build that wasn't unaffordable. We had to find the right place, and eventually we did, where the place that I'm in right now. The craziest thing, on the last day that we moved out, I saw protruding from the wall a crack. There was a crack in the wall. It was a bubble, and I knew, you know what? The walls are caving in. Thank God we finally figured out how to go, because this is freaking crazy. We had to get rid of a lot of our possessions. Anything that we could not wipe down or wash in borax or vinegar, we got rid of. We got rid of our comforter. We got rid of our bed. We got rid of our futon mattress. We got rid of our rugs. We even had to get rid of our books. And that was hard because we had to say goodbye to so many different things. It was really stressful because everything that we did move to this new apartment, we had to spend days wiping down over and over again to make sure that we killed off all the mold spores. Could you imagine having to uproot your life and getting rid of pretty much everything that you couldn't clean?
Cool. Wait, he gave you this whole thing?
Yeah. These are the freshest, healthiest eggs you could possibly get. Look how beautiful
Yeah.
and full.
And I can start eating cookies and cakes.
That'll be in a little bit. Let's start with eggs. The thing that was most difficult for me to figure out what to do with was the desk that I made myself with a friend over the pandemic. And if it wasn't for this desk, this is a FlexiSpot desk, and FlexiSpot's the partner of this video, I'd be in a pickle because I couldn't bring my old desk here. On the day that we were moving, we were rushing, and I lifted up the table and I saw underneath it these white specks, and I knew that was mold. I can't take any risks. It's the only thing I've ever built, so it meant a lot to me. My friend Justin Evans is a repurposed artist, and he basically makes things from trash and scrap wood. He invited me to his studio in Philadelphia, where in the stairwell of this old Philadelphia factory were these slabs of beautiful old wood. We took it, we sawed it in half, we sanded it down, we did the most hacky job at nailing it together. The underside of it is ridiculous looking. So it's the day that we're moving out, and I'm standing there looking at this piece. We don't have enough time to do anything with it, so we're gonna have to put it by the dumpster. Within the hour, that piece was gone. This tabletop that I made, and I truly loved it, I know is serving a purpose for somebody else, and that's making me really happy right now. So FlexiSpot reached out to me and they're like, hey, we want to send you our E6 standing desk. And I'm like, oh my God, you guys are literally coming to save me. If weight is any indication of quality, this thing scores a home run. The directions are really clear. When I built it, it fit perfectly in my little nook and infinitely more stable than what my previous desk was. The tabletop, I loved it, but in terms of the legs, it was embarrassing. Literally a $20 folding table. So it was wiggly and it just wasn't the right desk. And this E6 desk, I sat on it and raised myself up and it still didn't shake. It could hold up to 355 pounds at any height level. And the finish is really nice. It's a bamboo top, it's heavy, and as you raise it up, there's memory buttons so it remembers the height that you set it to. FlexiSpot has a 15-year warranty for the desk and a 2-year warranty for the motor. And if you're interested in the idea of upgrading to a standing desk, I put the Amazon link down below for you to check it out and read reviews. I am going to be standing at this desk for a while. These right here are the eggs that I bought Christy Lee today. And I can't think of a better analogy for what it is like to go through chronic illness. I really wanted to show you her eating an egg for the first time in 4 years. I thought that this would be the day, but it wasn't. So I'm sorry to leave this video out on a bummer, but I think it's a perfect way for you to understand what we're going through. And if you want to see a healthier version of Christy Lee on this channel, you should check out this video right here. It's one of my favorites.